Oh, no.
rough.
Yeah.
Okay, I call this regular meeting of the Nevada City Council to order Monday, August 26th, 2024 at 6:00 PM. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes. Melissa Music,
Here.
Henry Corbin,
Here.
Dane Nielsen,
Here.
Jason Sampson,
Here.
Steve Skaggs.
Here.
And Sandy was excused. First item, with approval of the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Dane, Jason, any discussion on agenda? Seeing none. You ready over there?
For now.
Please vote.
You can't see it.
Okay, Aaron says that pass. Takes us to the public hearing, vacation of city property. We'll open the public hearing. Did we receive any comments?
No.
No comments received. Is there anyone here to speak in the public hearing about the vacation of city property? Seeing none, we will close public hearing. Moving to resolution number 19, 2024-2025, a resolution to vacate and convey the Second Street right of way in the city of Nevada, Iowa.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Steve, Henry, any discussion on that item? Seeing none, council, please vote.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think my I say it passed. Okay. Next is approval of consent agenda. Any item may be removed for separate consideration.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jason and Melissa. I know the sound system works. It's pretty great.
Really loud. My bad.
Any discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that is approved. Takes us to mayor's appointments, and we do have Emma here, being appointed to the library board, should you choose to approve the appointment.
Thanks for being here today to be in front of us. It's always nice. I feel like it was like Brian that
It
always
was
said
Brian's
that.
job as
Yeah,
senior
so
council
now as
member.
the senior
For
council
sure.
member, it's gonna be me. So in the words of Brian Hansen, it's always nice to put a face with a name when someone gets appointed to a board. So thank you for being here. I'll move to approve Emma to the library board.
Second.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Dane, Jason, or any discussion there? Seeing none, council, please vote. It is approved. Congratulations, Emma. Excited to have you on the board. Thanks for serving. So that takes us to the public forum, time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. And Charlie, I'm saving your card for when we get to that agenda item. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so I just want to let you know. So anybody for the public forum for non-agenda topics? Okay, seeing none, we will close, or actually, we're not close it. There is an item there. Sorry, Brenda. Update on human services funding.
We're moving along so quick, I wasn't ready to get to the computer yet. Mayor and council, I believe you had in your board packets, the recommendation of the foundation and the committee. For public, and it's again, To refresh your memory, we have $35,000 funded for the current year to support grants supporting or a nonprofit 501c3 organizations that put together plans to help meet basic needs, so shelter, food, and clothing. So the foundation board is recommending for funding consideration St. Patrick's Catholic Church. That is where the Good Samaritan Fund is housed. They're recommending $6,000 for a grant for that organization. The Boys and Girls Club of Story County, specifically related to meals and snacks for a full year, $4,000. The Nevada School District is covered for food pantry and the weekend food program in the amount of $7,500. The Nevada School District, a new initiative this year is safe and stable housing. They'd like $7,500 to support that initiative. Kiwanis Club is also launching a new initiative this year. In partnership with Burke, they're going to be offering up those quick meals in little food pantries similar to little libraries. So they're requesting $1,600. Again, a lot of that is some food support and reduced costs from Burke. Nevada Food at First is really to support their food program that we're all pretty familiar with, $3,850. And our NCRC, this would really be geared to support outerwear purchases, to supplement what the Angel Tree does and to meet some adult needs. So $3,000. So I'll forward this to Karen, so you guys have it in your records. We needed to adjust one of the grants to get us under the 35,000. So we adjusted the Boys and Girls Grant with their feedback and took out things that weren't related to food. So with that, that's my recommendation for council consideration. I can answer any questions you have. Sandy and Melissa represent the council on the Human Services Board Committee. Luke Spence and Emily also are part of it. They made the recommendation to the foundation and they looked at it. So it's really a combination recommendation of the foundation as well as.
Are there any
We will not
questions?
be able to do another funding cycle based on the number of awards that we're projecting that you would make them.
Council, any questions for Brenda? It's like we'll have that detail in the next packet. Okay, thanks, Brenda. That takes us in closing the public forum into old business. A, ordinance number 1057, 2024-2025. An ordinance amending chapter 65, stop or yield required of the city code to require stops and additional intersections, third and final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jason, Dane, discussion?
I talked to Jordan about, this is 6 and E, right?
Yep.
Okay. Currently we have a middle turn lane, so I would think if we're gonna put a 4-way stop, we need to put turning lanes there, left turn lanes. Otherwise you could technically be turning into a middle lane from the other way. So something we need to make sure we take care of that.
I talked to Joe about that and he said that it was a good idea and it wouldn't be too hard to do. Just paint some lines.
Otherwise you got possible 2-way traffic.
Any other discussion? See. Sure, yeah, I'll have you step up to the microphone there and state your name and address.
Name is Derek Weirs of 806 8th Street. When it comes to the 6th and E, my one concern, and this may already be addressed, it's just a quick question. As it's right over the tracks if you're coming northbound into the city, do we have a stop ahead sign as part of this or some way? It might be a little bit blind for maybe shorter cars going over the tracks. There's a bit of a hill there. Has that been considered?
Yeah, we can definitely put a stop ahead sign up on there. That's probably something that we would definitely do because of the train tracks that are there. We want to make sure that there's plenty of clearance in case there is a train coming.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Any Anybody else? Seeing none, council, please vote. That is approved. Takes us to B, ordinance number 1058, 2024-2025, an ordinance amending chapter 51, junk vehicles and machinery of the city code by adding language pertaining to shipping and storage containers, third and final reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Henry, and Steve, any discussion?
I was gonna ask at the last meeting, Ryan, and I didn't ask in time, and I knew we'd have another chance to ask this. I know we had the one gentleman who came to the last meeting. Did you have a lot of response either way from the other current owners when you reached out?
There was a little bit of a response from some of the commercial ones. They use them for storage of goods and merchandise, but the new ordinance would allow them to put a fence around it, which would kind of hinder the ability to get to the containers and some of the placements of them. The majority of our fences in those areas are 6 foot, but a lot of these containers are 8 foot tall. So just something to mull over with that, but everybody else was either commercial, industrial, or railroad right away industrial. So it was just 2 of them that were kind of in that commercial area that would be required for the opaque fence stuff. So.
Other discussion?
So if we're requiring these places to put fences up, are we giving them a leeway time also to do stuff like that?
I would think so. I would think that would be kind of the same 2-year heads up portion of it.
That was for removal.
Removal.
That was
Okay.
for removal, so maybe that's something we need to. Might not necessarily need to give them 2 years to put a fence around it, but. I mean, I'd be all right with that, either put a fence around or to remove it in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, the ordinance, you're right, the ordinance language speaks to removing
Right.
or repairing as
Right.
required.
Right.
So we can talk internally about what you want for time frame, but I think a reasonable time frame would be appropriate.
Okay.
Let's go up there, Andy.
I'd ask Ryan, maybe it's a change. You'd said 2 years last meeting, the writing was for 2 years from the first reading. Is it 2 years from tonight?
July of 26.
Compliance is
From the
required by
first year.
July 1 of 2026.
Yeah.
So do we need to change anything in this as far as fence that are?
That's so. Soft, right? It's not 2 years. You want to give them 2 years or you want to give them a year and 11 months?
July 1 of 26. That's what it is.
Okay, well, that's the council.
I know it's off a month.
Yeah.
I get
The
that.
thing after 2 years, I brought it up with Ryan. The only thing I was pointing out is it's not 2 years. The attorney had said that try to give him some time.
Yep.
And then Dane, I don't know, did you get your question answered?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing none, council, please vote. That's approved. Takes us to C, ordinance number 1059, 2024-2025. An ordinance amending chapter 63, speed regulations of the city code to make necessary changes on Sixth Street, second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Dane, Melissa, discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote. is approved. Takes us to D, approve pay request number 37 for wastewater treatment facility improvements phase 2 from WBCI in the amount of $59,446.73.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Jason. Any discussion? Seeing none, council please vote. Okay, that is approved. Which takes us to E, resolution number 21, 2024, 2025. Resolution approving amended collateral assignment of development agreement among Nevada Dev LLC, City of Nevada, Iowa, and Home State Bank.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jason and Dane. Discussion on that. Seeing none, council please vote. That is approved. Takes us to new business A, discussion appropriate follow-up regarding fire alarm monitoring and inspection at City Hall.
So for as long as I've been here and probably longer, we've been using Johnson Controls for all of our fire protection with the building. There's some things that we need to update. One is part of the elevator. I know the library's had some issues with Johnson Controls, getting a hold of them, being charged a large amount of money to really fix anything, even a battery. And they wouldn't really tell them what needed to be fixed on some of these alarms that were going off. One thing that we use is a landline from Windstream, and we've been trying to phase some of those fees out. And switching over to a cell dialer, we would be able to save a little bit of money every single month and get all of these updates. So the plan would be to go over to Marshalltown for city admin, the administration offices, police, and then the library is currently using Marshalltown as well. They phased out Johnson Controls. Currently, the only other place that's being utilized is Midwest Alarm, and I think they have a 1-year contract with the field house, and I think we will be switching everything over to Marshalltown eventually with your approval. So I would recommend approving Marshalltown Alarm for the cell dialers in case of an emergency.
I'll move to approve option 1.
Second.
Steve, Melissa, discussion? Seeing none, council please vote.
Want to vote one more time? For some reason it didn't take it, but it's letting me revote it, so let's try again. Oh, says vote not in session. I'll see if I can get it. Went through. Went.
Okay, approved. I think this is the longest title you've ever made me read. Resolution number 22, 2024, 2025. A resolution authorizing the city of Nevada, Iowa to submit sites to a regional joint application for funding from the Federal Highway Administration's Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program, CFI, for sites at 1032 Fifth Street and 1717 Fawcett Parkway to to the Des Moines Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO, for inclusion and further approving the application which obligates the city of Nevada to matching funds of at least 20% for the construction of said project if funding is granted.
So it's at least 20%, so we might be paying more than 20%.
It's 20% is what I was told.
Yeah, that's what we're told.
Yep, so that is what it is, so the estimate came in around $250,000, so our 20% would be up to $50,000. Our engineers did say that they felt that that was a high estimate, so they're not planning on it being up to $50,000, but when I originally had a meeting with the MPO, they said it was a 20% match. So that will be no less than 20%, and it's my understanding that it will not be more than 20% of the entire project.
We do have Charlie that wanted to speak to the topic, so maybe we'll have Charlie head up there and then we can decide where to go.
I've just come to speak. I didn't know it was on the agenda, but when I seen this, I just kind of stunned me. So I thought I'd come up here and ask, you know, I'm looking at retiring maybe, and maybe you'd be interested in buying my store. Because I didn't know it was the taxpayer's responsibility to put in charging stations for people who bought electric cars. I took my own risk. We got streets in this town that need fixed. We got things in this town that need to be done. And this to me is absolutely ludicrous with the debt crisis we're facing as a town. When we got a water plant a few weeks ago, we're in here in a meeting. How are we going to pay for it? What do we got? 3 cars, electric cars in town, maybe? And we're willing to spend at the low 20%, but you got an open-ended bid. You got an open-ended bid. It can be whatever they want to be. Geez, have we heard that before? This should be something that the private sector takes. If Casey's or I wanted to do it, I looked into doing it when I remodeled. It was not feasible then, and it sure as hell ain't feasible now. You can go talk to Ames Ford, who spent $1.3 million and has yet to have 1 car charge. But they had to do it because Ford told them, if you don't do it, you're gone. If Come and Go, Casey's, or any of those people want to put it in, that's their responsibility. That's their risk. It should never be on the taxpayers of this town. And I had people send that to me, and it stunned me that you would even be thinking about this. I know grants are grants. I'm putting in new gas pumps next month. Part of that's a grant, but I help pay to that grant. But that's my choice. I'm not asking anybody out here to help me pay for it unless they want to come and buy my gas. Nobody out here has an electric car, do you? So what do we need charging stations for? If you're going to go buy an electric car, you should know how you're going to charge it. You should put a charging station in your own house at no taxpayer's expense. Because if that's what you want to do, I'm for sale and I'll listen to any offers. Thank you.
Council, anything?
Don't like that wording of the 20%.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, it's a little open-ended.
I'm not against it, because I know we are gonna draw people into the town. I know we are gonna get money back from the electric company for this. I know it's not totally for naught. Yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yep.
I've been here 28 years. Everything we built in this town. Paul said it's gonna no increase down, it's all gonna bring money in, it's all gonna pay for itself. I've yet to see any of that happen. 28 years.
I don't know. I see a lot of good things happening.
Well,
A
I
lot
see
of people
good
coming.
things.
I see a lot of people coming in.
Seen paying for itself.
Yeah.
I remember the debt Gates Hall, I know the debt the pool has. You know, I said, I know all that stuff too. I'm saying, as taxpayers, we're on the hook for a water treatment plant that we had to have, we understand that. Okay? We don't need to be on the hook for something we don't need, we ain't gonna use it. A few select people might use. That's up to the capitalists that wanna make that money, that wanna make that investment. That's up to the private sector. That shouldn't be us. That's like Washington DC spending billions of dollars to put in, what, 8 charging stations so far? That's a good return on this. I couldn't go to the bank and convince them that this was a good deal that they were getting. I talked to Alliant Energy in 2013, and they couldn't even give me numbers back then. I said, how much can I get back? I was gonna put one in there, because I wanted to be the leader. Things that the US a lot. Not like they have wanted them to, or not like they think they should. We got streets that are falling apart. I'd rather take 20% of 250,000 and put them in a street. So everybody, a lot of people say everybody. A lot of people.
I would have to say that I tend to agree that I think we should be spending, if we're gonna be spending $50,000, I think that spending it on something that we need is probably more fiscally responsible for us to do. While I think this is great and that there are gonna be people that are using it, it isn't going to be probably the majority of residents. And I do see a lot of empty charging stations even in Ames, and they have a more populous area for electric vehicles. I would tend to lean towards this is more of a private expense than a city expense.
I tend to agree with what Charlie said. I think a lot of these things that we have done are focused on serving a broad population, and here we're kind of focusing on a small subset of the population. I don't like the open-endedness of it either. But I think there's merit to what you said. So I'm leaning against it.
Is this grant available to any private entity, or does it have to be the city that applied? for
It's a public grant, so it's, this was a grant that was available 2 or 3 years ago, and, the state, basically the state is what applies for it at the federal level, and there has to be several people to apply for it, so, we didn't make it in time a couple of years ago, and if this isn't something that you fully agree on, then that's okay.
So it's something that a private entity is not, it cannot access.
No, it's just for public entities. Yep.
And I did ask Jordan earlier if it could be placed on a private entity's ground, and he thought it could, so potentially.
Yeah,
placement could change.
Yeah, you just have to have permission from a private entity, but yeah, the public entity has to be the one to apply for them.
Andy?
I don't wanna leave and not support Charlie, they feel guilty about it, I don't want my tax money used, but I guess, probably.
Myself, I'm falling into the category 2, agreeing just on demand on itself even. I mean, I don't know. I see empty chargers, I mean, in larger areas too, and I just don't, I mean, I'd love it if there was, for a private entity to come in, if there was demand for it and to kind of build that out, but I mean, I just don't know if we're quite where that would be. I mean, I love the idea of looking at creative things to bring people to the
Right.
community. I think we should definitely look to those things, but and with the open-ended of the 20% too, that has me a little uneasy with it. But I mean, I don't want this to be something that kneecaps us for looking at future things, but this on and of itself, I have a little bit of difficulty with it. So I'm falling more in, I guess, the camp agreeing here.
Yeah, I agree. And Charlie, you make some good points. I agree with a lot of things you say. So I appreciate you getting up and talking on that. I think my bigger problem is we don't know exactly what we're agreeing to for the cost. Electric cars are coming, you guys. It's gonna happen. I think the feds are giving this money out because private industry can't keep up with trying to build out this infrastructure network. So I think it's a good opportunity and it's something that will happen someday here in Nevada. But maybe this isn't the right time.
Look, I go to Washington DC here, for ethanol. It's ethanol and EVs, that's what they're talking about. But we finally got them last year to put hybrids back on the table.
They kicked them off the table a few years ago to go straight EV. They figured it out that it's not working. So now we introduced the Next Generation Fuel Act, which will put hybrids and EVs together again. And the charging stations will not be needed for hybrids if we build them like we built them earlier. But I go to Washington DC every year for 2 days, and this is what I talk about out there. And they gave the money for the infrastructure to do this, and they're giving the car companies money again to start producing hybrid vehicles that are just like they were before.
I'm aware of that, Charlie. Thanks. Yep. There will be a certain percentage of the population that has electric cars, people driving to places that want to experience tourism that have electric cars. I think at some point we need to find a way to accommodate folks that have this, whether it's encouraging private industry, whether it's through a grant or whatever way that we want to do it.
The city council, that's not your job, that's the taxpayer's job.
It's our job to serve the citizens and find out what the citizens want. If the citizens don't want this, then we
You
should.
never asked if I wanted to come and sell gas in Nevada. I decided that myself. Okay, so I should decide myself or anybody else if I want to put in charging stations. It shouldn't be at any taxpayer's expense, ever.
It's at taxpayers' expense because the feds are paying the majority of it. Is why the city would get involved in something like this. If the city was gonna pay the whole 250,000, whatever, it'd be like, good Lord, no. So it's a calculation we have to make, and it sounds like we probably don't have support for it right now, but I guarantee it'll be back in a year or two.
Sounds like
Satan,
we won't have a motion, so if you don't have a motion, it'll die of lack of motion. Okay. We will move on from that item, moving into reports, starting with city administrator.
All right, we had several wastewater meetings, met with Kading Properties and did a tour around our community. Had meetings with Dorsey and Whitney pertaining a few different discussions and agreements. Brenda and I went to the Board of Supervisors and spoke on the housing project for 11th and D and the money that they provided to the city for that project. Went to an alliance meeting, met with Kenny Lindstrom Foundation, design meeting, had several interviews for wastewater and water positions. Took part in the Back to Wellness. And then the other thing I was going to talk with you about is on a couple of weeks ago in my report, I mentioned closing City Hall for 2 hours on September 4th for emergency training. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay with that. That way all of our staff could attend that. Belinda's been keeping track of people that have been coming into City Hall from 9 to 11 on Wednesdays. And she said 4 to 5 people have come in over the last few weeks. And so we're not going to be closed for longer than 2 hours, but I think it's important that all of our staff attend this meeting. That way they know what to do in emergency situations such as a tornado or a derecho or anything like that in the event that we have a catastrophic storm come through.
I'm assuming we'll notify the public that it'll be closed.
We'll start notifying. Marlis can start notifying as soon as tomorrow, and that's something that we can continue to do on a regular basis.
Anything else for Jordan? Moving on for reports, I wanted to congratulate Main Street and Lincoln Highway Days for another fun weekend. I think it's neat to see every year new things added to the tradition. And then the things that are there have continued to grow. So I think it's been good momentum with the festival, and I know a lot of volunteers put in a lot of time. So wanted to express appreciation for that on behalf of the community. Otherwise, most of my time has been spent still working through the wastewater treatment agreement and things like that. So making good progress there. Our staff, we're waiting for one consultant to finish reviewing the treatment agreement before we send it back the other way. So hopefully we will close some of that ground there in the near future. Happy to answer any questions. Okay. Anything, HR Green?
Nothing from us.
Good evening, council. We closed out summer at the library and I was pulling our door counts and it's been phenomenal. I think I reported to you that in June, we had almost 5,200 people. That was almost 1,000 more than last June. July, we had almost 5,500 people, which was almost 1,500 more than the previous July. So and August so far, we're just about 7% short of last year's entire August. And so just with the numbers so far, we've increased usage of the library, or people coming into the library, by 16%, which we have all felt that, and it's been amazing. And it's really weird now that it's quiet during the day again with the kids at school. We partnered with Raygun back in the spring to make Nevada Library t-shirts. We've got 5 different designs available, and 40% of the proceeds come back to the library. We just got our second check from them for $148. And I believe we're right around $400 to $500 total from those t-shirt sales that now. We're using that money to help digitize the Nevada yearbooks that we're working through. So I think we're through almost completely through the 70s. So we've got about 30 years worth of yearbooks on our website, completely digitized. And then all of the Milford and all of the Shipley yearbooks as well. Staff participated in the Lincoln Highway Days parade, and we had a ball throwing candy, and we were astounded with how much candy the kids of Nevada walked away with from that parade. Just bagfuls. And then probably most importantly, we completed and our board approved our strategic plan that will take us through 2029. I have identified 4 primary objectives. One of them focuses on a larger variety of resources and services. A second priority is to focus on strategic and sustainable programming. As we've proven, the summer programming is a huge part of what we provide the community, especially our children's programming. Our summer learning program, we're almost finished compiling all the numbers, but it's incredible how many kids participated. We had amazing support from businesses in the community, from Good and Quick, from the pool, from Starbucks, and all these local places who are helping us keep kids doing productive, fun things, educational and engaging things. So we want to make sure we're really creating a programming guidelines and a programming schedule that is thoughtful and strategic for the community. And then our last 2 is communication and information, and making sure the people in Nevada are well informed about the library. And then making sure the library is inclusive and accessible. And we achieved a big goal with that, with getting the chairlifts to the basement storm shelter. And so just making sure we're thinking about how we can eliminate any kind of barriers that would prevent people from utilizing all the services and resources we provide. And I'll make sure you guys get a copy of the full plan in my report next month. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Aaron?
Thank you.
Brenda, anything to add?
I don't, Mayor.
Marlis? Tim?
Nothing for me unless there are questions. I don't have anything.
I'll be in a little bit. Just had a couple reports done, the outstanding debt report and the Gatsby 77 letters. They'll be in your next, my report in the next council meeting. Auditors began August 20th. We have a new team. Sometimes that can be a little challenging just because it takes a little more time for them to get familiar with us, but usually they're here for 3 years. So once we get the first year over, it'll be better next year. Working on a couple of grant requirements.
Aaron?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so we do have the new voting system. And Aaron wants to walk us through how to potentially use that for the next meeting, so. For those that are attending, we're done with business, but we'll be working through how to use the new voting system before we adjourn. So Aaron?
So I have it all, I have you all logged in. If you want to pull up Edge at the bottom, just click on the browser, the Edge browser. It should pop up. I will show you my screen up here, but it looks a little bit different. Mayor and I have the same screen. We'll have different capabilities on the back end to be able to run the meeting. But if you all have the browser pulled up, correct?
Mine says Watting for start.
Watting.
WATING.
Won't have it.
All we have is City of Nevada website.
Okay.
So the screen that you guys were looking at right here is where you'll be able to log in at home or wherever to download the agenda for the meeting.
And I went back to try to start over.
You have touch screens too, if you didn't know that.
I haven't started it.
I did forget.
So maybe I can't, maybe only Aaron can. start it.
Maybe I shouldn't have told you that.
I moved fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah, watching home.
Yes, so I'll start it. Let me start it and then.
I like how it says howdy.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy.
You can, if you'd like to, it's not gonna hurt anything.
Oh, looky there. It says report, city administrator, mayor, council, and then staff.
Weird.
Hmm.
You skipped council reports.
Okay, so did anything change on your guys' end? Cause I did click the start button.
Okay, we go back to that.
Jason.
We haven't adjourned yet.
What?
I watched-
What are we looking for?
Sorry, nobody spoke up.
Just if anything changed.
You didn't give us a chance.
Right.
Straight to staff.
Mine's already been up, so.
It's fine.
It says not.
You think really say.
Go to the top. There it is.
I don't want to listen to Dane talk for 10 minutes about.
I mainly just wanted to ask Hutton a question and he ducked out right before his turn.
No, it says it's finished. It started in both finished.
got the fire
at 6
alarm.
o'clock. So
Fire
somehow
alarm?
We didn't push start.
So what if I
Let me
pin
do
this? I was gonna say, pin the first one and see what it was. Yeah, just probably.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
What do you see, Marlis?
The
Right
call the meeting to order just.
Oh,
went
just
under-
Just like come live, like call the meeting to order.
It still says finished at the top, but it went off. It's white now on the call the meeting to order, so they're on.
Okay.
When
So-
when it turns white instead of gray, that's the thing you're on.
That's the,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Mhm.
not great.
So if you see on the
That's pretty
screen up
cool.
there, I was wondering if you would.
I mean, it looks like I should have capabilities. but
That
like-
safety pin up there is what I have to click on for things to highlight.
can click
on
on
your
it and see it.
Pin
So-
message,
I have to like open it up and shut the agenda.
pin message. That's what that means. That means pin the message.
Yes,
That's what
yeah, so you should see the pin one.
Yeah.
So then you would call the meeting to order.
Got it?
Well, it doesn't let me do anything, so I can.
Well, like normal. And then. I mean, I would just. Take those notes per usual on. This. from my understanding, Marlis and Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, but the clerk notes will not be visible to anybody that's viewing this. So you guys won't be able to see what I'm typing over there, but the public agenda notes will be. So you guys can see that side of it. Not up there right now. That's my screen. That's what I'll be viewing. Does that make sense?
So that
You won't
screen won't
see
be,
those.
You'll just
Correct.
see this.
yeah.
You will just see what's on
You'll
your
just see your
screen.
screen, and that's
right.
all you need, because.
Yeah.
You're just
And then-
going through the agenda.
And then do they understand that they can have the agenda up beside it to click on the things that they might want to look at in the packet?
Yeah, just like.
We'll get to that,
Oh,
there,
okay.
let's wait till we get. to
All right,
the vote
sorry.
thing.
So I'll be able to look.
So that they.
Yeah, you just put it over here.
So I don't have to scan, this, like, try to read through 200 pages of organization anymore.
I'm
So,
a little bit.
Mayor, you
Oh,
think it would be helpful if you were able
If you wanna
to
read the
pin
packet.
the agenda item?
I think so.
Yes, I believe so.
Would that be difficult for you to just pin it saying, okay, we're at this one, now this topic is ready to.
Now we're
Yeah,
roll
I
call.
can definitely do that.
Roll call. Moved.
So then I would track that as well, and then approval of the agenda. So here.
Your
would
screens
be-
are touchscreen, by the way.
Yeah. You can use
So
them up
you
or
can-
touch it.
I
Gotta leave.
Let you walk through.
So approval of the agenda, this would be our first
Oh, she
poll.
hasn't started. that.
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, not only do I have to pin each item, I'll have to start the poll. So I'll wait till the first and second, the motions, and then I'll open the poll. Even though it's not letting me open it. Okay. Well, that's what I thought we would fix.
Because it, Mark, mine still says finished at the top. Is that
Same
what
here.
you vote?
I don't know.
I would think that has some.
Did you start the meeting?
That you started?
What's that?
Did you start the meeting? Do you have to press start?
I did press stop.
Oh,
Because it does show that you started at 6:43 and it ended at 6:43.
I don't think the finish time is working. Did we have issues with that when we?
They're still gonna work on that, and they're actually gonna take the finish time off, so that we never have.
Yeah, there's
the
still
finish
some
time
kinks
and
in
then
it.
stop it for some
Sure.
reason. And they probably haven't gotten around.
Oh, I get in a different screen here by clicking around.
Well, let me try to start it.
Take over, take over.
Yeah, it said it asked me if I wanted to take over from you and I said no. Wahaha. I clicked on the edit button and that's what let me potentially take over.
Hostile takeover.
Mhm.
Same thing as I.
That was weird. Yeah.
My start button's gone. Are you guys still seeing the meeting or no?
They're still saying.
Yeah, still here. It just says closed.
I tried to update my.
I don't have to figure out how to get the items to pull up because it doesn't have my screen.
right there.
So will I be able to access that in home too?
Yeah, you'll be able to log in from home.
So am I supposed to be able to see the packet item?
Scroll through 200 pages anymore?
I'll have to have the packet pulled up separately for you.
To log in on another browser for you. But like, right now, while we're like, she's running the meeting, you can pull up those.
Right.
Yeah, and they'll come up like
Yeah.
that, and then you can just go back here to vote. You can leave. No, that's something.
I'm just sitting at home and I'm reading the packet instead of like looking at that long
Yes,
PDF.
that-
Oh
that
my
will be
God.
nice.
Oh.
Yes, like for Jordan, on this screen,
I won't be able to vote.
My
no,
finish
but you
thing.
can open the packet.
I hate
Um,
Oh, it's awful.
my hands for.
Right, yeah, so basically you go back to meetings list.
Oh, yeah.
And then you download.
Right. So where you were right
Get
there,
it to
you can
vote,
down,
let them
oh, that's
vote.
the minutes, download the agenda or
Kind
whatever.
of change
Yeah.
the time
Down
down
by
by
the
the
agenda,
start.
and you can open it right beside it, you can click on the different things. That you're seeing,
This is nice.
like the things that she
Oh, so you
presented
just
are
got it off the
clickable.
website?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
impressive. It'll be there.
So then you.
Maybe we won't need it much longer.
Marlon's so excited.
It may be done here if we get this going.
There's gonna have empty plates.
Yeah.
What's this? This whole thing up here.
The finish.
Yeah.
part, yeah.
It's there, it just won't let me open it. Like, I won't even let me start this.
So go back down to 3 real quick. Okay, go to 3. So now it's opened. Can you start typing or anything?
It's not open. I can.
Okay, so see if they can,
We're still good, right?
see if they can vote now.
Yeah, whatever.
No?
Keep it. I got 3 fighters.
Not keeping anything.
Yeah, Brees, Justin Jefferson.
Well, here's a bullet. Try it.
Running backs that are every down backs are harder and harder to come by. And Justin Jefferson doesn't have a quarterback this
No,
year.
not this year.
I have got some
Yeah,
good
you're
compliments though.
Yeah, it's a good little game.
For people that have.
All three of
watched.
them are good.
They said it is
Much improved.
clear. and-
Yeah.
Well, no, just
So that-
yeah.
Points for Jefferson.
If you're thinking
Just so you
beyond this
have, like,
year,
Project.
Brees, I'm definitely.
Some old lady got startled in the video, probably fell out of her chair.
Taylor.
So it's.
So it's not like
We-
you go to-
We'll be.
I think
We just, we have a problem because.
I think
it
I'm
finished
leaning
meeting
Jefferson.
and
You
then
have that much
finished
faith
it
in
up,
Brees?
Right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder.
So that's, and I think that is holding us up, it finished it and now you
Especially
won't
with
let me
Rodgers
do
as a
anything.
What happens if you get out of here and you click
Yeah.
update?
Holiday website, you voted for it.
I tried to change.
Oh, that's
the
equals
time.
14.
Time.
Monday, Labor Day, Monday night.
Monday?
8 PM.
Update.
You voted that you could.
Fantasy football. Okay, we got time for that.
Maybe do 7.
Who you keeping?
I see them popping up on my.
I want to start it because.
I have absolutely.
Start time.
I'm taking whoever he drops.
It's a lot of work.
My dad had me there for a while and then I would, it just,
You can keep 2.
You can,
it
you
would
make
be like a
two.
church.
I think you
and I'm like,
should.
oh, I
You
didn't
have
set
Lamar
my
Jackson.
stuff.
Your punter
So dumb.
and your defense.
And then he'd pay attention. to
Lamar
like,
Jackson,
who's
maybe.
injured where and like make changes.
CeeDee
and I
Lamb.
have no damn clue.
Oh, yeah, CD for
Like
sure.
there's a rumor, someone might be hurt.
CD 100%.
I became CD.
I used
I
to,
too.
and I loved it.
Who's his
when
running
I
back?
Had time, but I.
He has crap running backs.
Let me try reloading.
Yeah, keep Lamar.
Who's your other receiver?
Make my life for a
It-
Because it's 9 hours.
It's showing 2.
Barely to watch it.
I mean,
I would for sure keep CD. CD's a first rounder for sure. Lamar borderline second.
Maybe
round.
interesting, but even that, yeah, basketball, right?
Now.
It's not what it was a few years ago.
Oh my.
You're right.
Not that he's not a good quarterback, it's just,
Yeah, he's probably.
that's not the way I roll.
He's probably not.
I'm not a big quarterback right away guy.
I'm not.
If you go back here, then it's not.
Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
But I can pin it now. Something at the beginning of the fall.
Definitely CD.
Beginning of fall.
100%. God.
Weeks ago was the end of summer, yeah, yeah. Here we are.
Yeah, you did.
Weeks off.
Jerry's opening up the pocketbook a little bit.
Yeah, I was actually shocked how much.
Yeah. The one log.
I just gotta figure out who Jordan's keeping.
What's that?
Who you keeping?
Put it through.
Who am I keeping?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts for one.
You don't really have to tell us.
Says
You
it's
don't have to.
open. So I have a poll that have anything.
There,
that
You're not
can-
keeping
shows
Jalen, are you?
two approval of agenda questions now.
It's a quarterback.
And Aaron, you won't be able to vote. I don't know what-
Oh, wait, there we go. The third one's open.
You won't. Yeah, you can vote now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I, but it appears that I have,
Click on that.
okay,
Right there.
mine looks like there's.
It should tell you.
And he's coming off.
Like my thoughts are there, but it doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay, so if I click it, you know, I just voted.
And he's for the Jets. I understand they have to be solved.
can
and I
function
understand
vote
they
on
have to fix
I got
it.
two.
I don't care. They're still your job.
I have too many.
Oh,
They should run vote.
well, no, but it didn't change the vote count.
Oh,
Jets.
Oh, you didn't change the vote.
It's like the.
No, I did.
What your-
See, I was the third, and then when I unclick it, it stays.
Let them know.
It doesn't tell me who votes what.
I love every time the Bears, like, yeah, we're gonna be good this year. Like, no, you're not. You're the Bears. It's like the Jets and Bears.
Can you vote?
This one.
Oh, am I supposed to try?
Yeah.
So don't quit.
Oh, scroll down. I think it's the third
It's
one
this
she
one.
posted. There you go. See where it says.
Oh, wait,
Let me back it out. It's the wrong one.
It let me click.
I
on
have
it.
3 votes for the agenda.
Oh, the only one that's open. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Someone doesn't
Yeah,
like the
that's right,
agenda.
that's again.
But now I
So if you put it over the,
See, I-
like the people, it'll show you who's votes.
Oh, so I can still out
Yeah.
the traders were?
Yeah, I just did it too,
Yeah.
but it's letting me vote.
Aaron voted?
Yep.
It doesn't let me see who voted.
It doesn't, if you hover over the people in the vote.
When the hell did we elect her?
Now I see it.
Show you who did.
It doesn't when I
Yeah.
clicked on it.
Yeah,
I saw it.
I somehow got out of
It
it. Now I
kept saying
can't
you
get back.
can't vote, and so.
Watch me.
Her vote counts the votes.
When the attorney illegally votes.
So there's just some kinks, yeah, but that's good to know. We know we need to
Yeah.
not the mayor or Aaron or the vote.
Well,
Doesn't let me anyway.
mayor in theory could.
Because
If
you're an
there's time.
admin, so they just need to be.
Yeah, Mayor in theory could vote on something.
Yeah, if it
Yeah,
was three,
it
three.
would be nice
rather
to
than-
let me walk through and pin
I
stuff.
don't know if I could keep.
Have you closed that though?
Do it every
He's
time.
about the only one I.
I can't even get back into the meeting, so I'm gonna
I think it was only
screenshot
gonna
it.
let me
want
do it
to.
if I kick her
I
out.
want to close it, Henry, but I have not.
Who would you rather have?
So if you close the poll then, Aaron?
No.
No,
Taylor.
But I did just pin the public hearing, so did it go out of that then?
You went on to public hearing, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
I
other
think
poll,
Marcus have a good year.
at least on mine,
That's
looks
why I would
closed.
consider keeping.
I was thinking
It does
about
look
doing
close, doesn't
Hertz
it?
and
So you're gonna
Jackson
let you
Center.
into it.
No, I can't get back in.
At least you guys can
Doesn't
see
change
what.
the vote.
I can't get back into it.
That wouldn't be
It's
bad.
telling me if there's a critical error, so
Voting.
I screenshotted it for you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
I
you
can't
gotta
get
think of
back
it this
into
way,
the
you're
meeting.
giving up your first and second round. Would you draft?
So
first
I
and the second
screenshotted
round?
that so you can.
He was the first person to draft it last year.
Yes, I have.
So I'll try real quick.
What an idiot.
And I went like 5-0. And so that's what gets me this. fast screen.
Oh, man.
If I click,
I mean, I got.
I click this button,
something we.
then it does this.
So what, do I need to draw?
That could.
Oh, but it didn't.
No,
didn't
you
say it
just
was
gotta
kicking around.
designate who you wanna keep.
Some of the.
So I click on them.
Out of it too.
I think if you go back
Oh,
to
yeah.
your
she's
home
out.
page. Oh, does that?
Voting, yeah, I can't.
It
draw.
looks
Oh,
like
okay.
it's good though.
So
Okay.
there's a little
So-
star.
Go back.
This is a good
Okay.
test.
It's frustrating.
And we'll have to do another.
We will have to, I think that's all.
Well, theoretically, they should be able
So
to.
she's got on a public hearing.
I
They
said-
have
You don't have to do it from a computer, do you? Your keepers?
That's
If you might be able to.
I
log
knew
in and
you
browse
getting there
that.
time and
But at least it's your-
It doesn't work with mobile app.
Monday night, next Monday night.
I think it's.
At what time? 8? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
already.
you gotta log in
Yes.
through the browser.
Yes, Monday at 8.
Did you start the public hearing?
Usually what I do, cause
Or,
I'm putting
you
you to bed at that
highlighted it.
time, usually I just. Pick out
Yeah,
all
didn't
my
change
people
theirs.
earlier.
queue 'em?
Yeah, queue 'em and.
We finally got into where.
Oh, but it
you
doesn't
see
still
where
let
we
me
can
pin
pin it And start the topic. So you are able to pin it?
I'm locked out of
You've
everything.
already pinned, well, you're.
You're logged out?
I'm locked, like.
Oh, you're locked.
There's a critical error.
No, it has a
Oh.
star that says
Are you getting the
template.
critical error too?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mine says template topic.
I have nothing anymore.
I do have.
Did you back out of it?
To go on. to
That's what I
next.
did.
No.
So,
So
so if the internet goes out. in the
Edit,
middle of
like
it,
where you set it up.
closed.
So this is different probably.
And she will be.
Oh.
I have to get you back.
Yeah, what, how did it go from being 20% to at least?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
That was the.
Yeah, now you have them in there.
Suggestion.
So this is where you set up the meeting. It's not apparently where you run the
I
meeting.
didn't want to spend 50.
Oh, the roll call one is
Yeah.
templated.
I mean, if it would have came back,
So like,
maybe.
I have the star, I don't have the pen.
I have the star for some too.
And not knowing exactly,
This time it didn't give me the
could have
option to
been
kick you
40,
out.
it could have been 50, it could have been 60.
So if I click this, where do you go in?
I mean, could we have not at
Broke.
that point? No, we really don't want this because we're not funding that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Or
look
did we
at
have to
clear.
commit? Not
So like,
knowing.
where do you click? Do you click here? or do you
Yeah.
click- Okay,
I think we probably could.
so this is still. Yeah, it doesn't give me
Anything.
the ability to do anything.
He had to go in.
What's
It does give me
where's our
that.
house is at?
So
Let's see.
that's only one person then at a time to do that. I don't know. Because when I clicked this before, it told me that I was kicking you out, but you must have switched screens, I'm guessing.
Well, we don't want to edit it. We
Yeah.
can't. Now you're at.
Yeah.
And that's what would be. Well, that's what you would see of the minutes that I would publish.
Okay. Well, Still have to work on my module then.
I think we need to. Yep.
Okay. Well, fun game, everybody.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
You know more now than you did when we. first
Yeah.
started.
And there were some bugs before tonight even that
Yeah.
haven't been fixed, so it's just
We'll figure it out.
a few more, but.
Okay,
Well, the whole point is that you should be able to log into this. Anytime. Once I get it done and it publish, it will shoot you guys out an email telling you that everything's ready to go. You can. I assume click on a link that's in the email. I haven't seen that part.
I mean,
Or
Melissa,
log
you
into
used to
the
work for Saltech, you should be able to help us through all this stuff.
I'm not a coder.
Yeah.
But you will all, I logged you in, you guys. will-
Okay.
and Jason pointed out I skipped council reports, so before we adjourn, anybody, council reports?
Yeah, I would just love to tell all the staff in the back how awesome they are and how much they are appreciated. And that no matter what the Facebook keyboard warriors say, I think our staff is the best in the state and I will stand by that. And I'll fight if someone disagrees.
Jordan can pass.
Is that legal? Yeah.
Oh.
I sincerely mean that. It bothers me that knowing that there may be staff that feel the negativity that they get for things that are beyond their control. So I very much wanted to say that.
Well, I'm a little biased because I get to work with them on a regular basis, but I would have to say that we have the best staff as well, so.
Absolutely.
It's nice if they get told that once in a while.
Yeah.
Because they need it.
Yep. And I mean, every single department, every last one of them. You guys. The guys that were over here,
Even you guys.
Even Ryan, right?
even Hutton who ducked down right before I was gonna ask him a question about F and G.
F and G, that's, you got that right.
F&G, that's right.
F and G, man.
Gee.
Anyway, anything else?
I'll move to adjourn. Nope.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I don't know what just happened.
So I threw it and I'm not aggressively, but just.